all wrapped up here at the Thornbury Surfacing Stadium with Chippenham Town manager Gary Horgan. Gary, a 3-1 defeat to Swindon Town in the Wiltshire Premier Shield tonight. Talk us through your thoughts on that one, mate.
Yeah, it was a good game. I thought bar for the 2 minutes of, or less than probably 2 minutes of madness in the first half. It took a bit of a sloppy start. You know, it was a really competitive game. I felt we probably matched them in the first half, given that, like I said, we've got a number of younger academy lads in today. So yeah, I thought it was quite a really worthwhile exercise for us, and like I said, getting minutes into people and seeing some of those that potentially can step up into the first team frame.
We'll move on to the flashpoints of the game in a minute, Gaz, but tonight a team selection blend, really a youth and experience. Like you said, there are a couple of lads that needed minutes into them, but a couple of players stepping up from the academy tonight. I thought, you know, for the best part, they put in a good shift.
Yeah, definitely. I was really impressed with Toba. I thought Toba did well, certainly when he shifted over into centre half, calm and composed on the ball, and broke lines either by dribbling or passing. So that was good to see. You know, there were a couple of others in there as well. I thought Marcel did well when he came on, and like I say, yeah, I was impressed overall. Dan Ware's movement as well. So good to see Dan back. But you know, there were a couple of others in there as well.
Got a little mention there for James Walker. Obviously moving to the first real flashpoint of the game. There's not much he could have done about the first goal, but the second, yeah, a really horrible goalkeeping mistake. But for the most part, as a first team manager, you would have seen it time and time again. But I think he stepped up again very well after that and had a fairly solid performance, only conceding from the penalty spot late in the second half, but really responded well to the mistake. Yeah,
James made a couple of really good saves, and he did well. You know, we talked about it in there. Really, I don't think the ball should have gone back to him anyway when it did. Probably the detail on it probably went back to directly at him rather than allowed him to set himself, you know, wide where he stood. So that wasn't ideal. He went back there and then maybe laboured on it when it went back to him. But as I said, bar from that 30 seconds of madness at the start, we more than matched them. So yeah, James recovered really well from that. Showed great character to make a number of saves after that point.
And good news for yourself, obviously, Gaz. You know, we are really focused on that first team and now climbing up the league, which we're in a really good form in the National League South at the moment. But returns to the side tonight for Fassenmaid, for Gunner, minutes getting into players that you would necessarily have wanted to try and use this game to try and hype them up, and all of them coming through their 20-30 minute spells quite well.
Yeah, definitely. And I thought, you know, Joey P started really well as well. He was lively and a threat from the outset. Probably didn't get him into the game as much as we should have and would have liked. But again, yeah, no, it was good to get 90 minutes into Cal, because obviously he hasn't given his concussion from Burton. It's the first time we've really probably been able to get some proper minutes into him, given the run we've been on as well. So that was good. Got some minutes into Kane, who obviously he's been training, but you know, during the day, but we haven't been able to get minutes into him as well. So yeah, again, as I said, it's a really worthwhile exercise. I hope, as I said, you know, some of the academy boys have enjoyed it tonight, and because, as I said, for the most part, I enjoyed watching it.
And a little hat tip to the opposition, Gaz. Obviously, a lot of people, when you come in these Wiltshire Shield games, you know, it's under scrutiny sometimes for the sides that the bigger clubs like Swindon put out. But when you really consider that some of these lads, especially Harrison Minturn, who's obviously famously spent a bit of time with Chippenham as well, these are the lads that, you know, are first, second year scholars that necessarily make their way into this level, and it's good to have that relationship and good to see these lads in action. Yeah,
definitely. You know, it's good to see him firsthand, and like I said, but more importantly for me, I think internally it's a good test for our boys to see where they are and what the benchmark is to where they either need to get to or what they want to aspire to be better than even. So yeah, look, as I said, I think the good thing is that we got to look at them, but as I said, but for those two you know, mistakes in the first half, we more than matched them, which can only be a good thing for us.
And moving on to Saturday, Gary, it's a return to the National League South, and luckily for you and the boys, a return to the Thornbury Surfacing Stadium after quite a lengthy absence. I mean, Bath, I think the first game in some 48 days you guys have played. It's Weymouth, managed by an old friend of yours, Bobby Wilkinson. I'm sure from your time at Hungerford you'd have spent a bit of time with Bobby, so I'm sure it'd be nice to see each other before and after the game. But during the match, no friends in football and all that, and certainly going to be looking at building on your good form that you've built lately.
Yeah, look, we'll go into that. It certainly will be. Like I said, Bob is a good friend of mine, and as I said, played for him, and you know, I'll be forever grateful for that, really, to be honest, because there was a point in time in my career when I was looking to retire, really, and he pulled me out of retirement at one point. So yeah, look, it'd be good to see him. You know, we'll certainly be in for a tough game, because they're like us, are trying to pull themselves away from the bottom. You know, and he won't accept any less than bringing a fight to us on Saturday. So we'll expect a really tough game on Saturday, but hopefully it'll be us that comes out on top.
Well, for tonight, Gary, of course, it's commiserations. We exit the Wiltshire Premier Shield. I suppose the silver lining of that, it was a good exercise for you and the boys this evening, but we return to league action on Saturday, and we wish you all the very best, guys. Well done.
Cheers.